all of us involved. Now, Port Adelaide took on Collingwood Friday night, an emotional game for the Port Adelaide Footy Club, who of course farewelled their legendary coach Mark Williams. But in the end, the Collingwood Footy Club, Tomo, just a little too good, and they are in fine fettle.
Yeah, they certainly are, if you have a look at the scores there. It took them a while to get up and running, the Pies, but Ebert kicked 3 in the first term. He ended up with 4. Also, Roden, what a night for him. Dawes has been a good inclusion for the Pies. He got a fair bit of the ball and kicked some goals. Here are the Super Coach, TAC Super Coach points. Roden, Cassisi and Ebert doing quite well for the Power. Dane Swan, just fantastic. Pendlebury. And the young man Blair kicked a couple of goals and was very good, but we've got a great guest.
Well, he's a tiny little man, Blair, but this is a very, very big man and a great friend of ours, Simon Prestigiacomo. Presty, great to see you, and congratulations with the Maggies. It's just going beautifully.
Yeah, it was a good win, and I suppose as you mentioned with the retirement, and we had to come out, and we knew they'd come out pretty hard, and they did. Sort of jumped us at the start with the breeze, I suppose, helping, and we managed to sort of peg them back and get over the top of them.
Did you talk about it as a club, the fact that there was a change of coach? Because a lot of times lower clubs can beat upper clubs when there's a change of coach, and did you discuss it internally?
No, not really. We didn't. We just sort of heard a bit of word filtering through during the day, and Mick sort of just said, "Get ready for them. They're coming," which we were expecting anyway. And yeah, as I said before, they did, and they hit us pretty hard to start with, and jumped us, yeah.
Presty, an interesting coin toss to start the night because it was about a 4-goal breeze heading down to one end of the ground. I was interested in your tactics. It looked like instead of the usual zoning type play you do, Heath Shaw was loose in the back line to try and stop that. Was that the tactic going into that first quarter against the breeze?
No, I think Port Adelaide sort of pushed their forwards up the ground a little bit, which left us with sometimes an extra 2. And in the first quarter, we didn't really deal with it too well. They sort of, I suppose, went round Heath or over the top of Heath and that sort of thing, where in the third quarter we addressed it a bit better, and I suppose it made our job a bit easier.
We just see Ebert here kicking his second goal of the game early on. He had a wonderful first quarter, kicking 3 goals. And one thing I did notice, though, and I think we see it each time at Amy Stadium, there's Roden as well. He was fantastic. A lot of players slipping over. Yeah. Now, I'd suggest that most players still do wear the longer stop boots, but is it a slippery surface over there? What's going on there?
Yeah, it probably actually wasn't as dewy as it normally is Adelaide at night, but yeah, a lot of players will probably wear the shorter stops, are a bit more comfortable. I generally wear the long ones.
Were you close to Mick Moldhouse there? He was just having a bit of a chat to Alan Didak and Ben Johnson at quarter time. You were obviously down a fair way as far as the scoreboard read, and he seemed unhappy, but the boys also went back at him a little bit.
Yeah, I didn't actually see that. He went at a few of us, a few of the backs and things like that, and we managed to, I suppose, switch on and turn it around.
Well, they weren't on, Bill, but Dane Swan in the second quarter, you see that ball get grabbed by the breeze. That shows the breeze in the second term. But Dane Swan's quarter, Presty, was amazing. 16 possessions, 4 clearances. He pretty much got you guys going, and then everyone jumped on board. It was a great effort from himself and the team to get back into it.
Yeah, it was. It's amazing. He gets more possessions in a quarter than I get in a game, so he's he wins the hard ball and runs a fair bit, so he's a great player.
What about young Blair? It's great that small men can still play our game. He gets in there and has a go and shows a lot of ticker, so that's good to see.
Yeah, he's been terrific, and Tarks is pretty happy to have him in because, as you said, Blair is now smaller than him. He's not the smallest man. So yeah, he's done well, slotted in, and I suppose we've managed to get a few games into a few young guys, which is sort of good for our depth.
All square at half-time, Presty. Did you think after you'd weathered the early storm, the emotional storm from Port, that you then had their measure?
Yeah, when we went in at half-time, we had to sort of reassess how we started. As I said before, the third quarter we had to change a few things and knew they were going to have the wind again, so I think we managed to kick a goal or two and nullify them a bit, which made it easier in the last quarter, I guess.
Josh Carr kicks that goal, 50-metre penalty, and you thought, and then Collingwood kicked a couple of goals, and you thought the game into the wind, you thought game was over. It was that man David Roden, Tomo. Yep. Just no one can tackle him. They can't grab him. He was sensational.
In a game of rotations, as we have these days, midfielders coming on and off, you're one of the elder statements in the competition, but 100% game time for yourself, the only Collingwood player. Do you look up at Mick Moldhouse and think, gee, Mick, I wouldn't mind a bit of a break here every now and again?
Yeah, I suppose it's like just hitting my head against a brick wall. The backs pretty much said just stay on. If we call you off, come off and don't bother trying to get a rotation because you'll get sent straight back. So we just wait and call it from the bench.
Highlights there of David Roden. 2 goals in a row when, as Bill said, Collingwood just seemed to have control of the match against the Breeze, and now into the last quarter. It took a while to get going. Here's Darren Jolly floated forward from a ruck stoppage. He seems to do that well and a nice finish.
He's doing that very well. He's kicking goals, which is exactly what you want from a ruckman, to have a really good influence on the game. But what about from a defender's point of view, Presti? Do you prefer defending when it's really tricky conditions like it is, where it's unpredictable, or would you prefer there be no wind so you can actually read the flow of play?
No, I prefer a lot of wind and a lot of rain. It makes it a little bit difficult. Yeah.
Dane Beam's fantastic, Presti. He had a very good game. Also, Thomas, he might have something to worry about with the match review panel. You just never know there.
Look at that.
James wants him to go. Lee Brown, well, he's been rejuvenated. 26-point win to the Pies. Fantastic win on the road, playing against an emotional team. But Dane Swan, take a bow for mine. 39 possessions, Presti. Probably doesn't get the recognition that some of the other stars in the competition does, but by playing games like he did on Friday, that'll certainly come.
Yeah, definitely.
Tomo, I do not want him to go. I'm just telling you that the St Kilda Footy Club will be watching this week very closely, because part of the ridiculous cocktail that Stephen Baker got was a jumper punch like that. So that's all I'm saying.
Well, you specifically asked for the votes.
Yes.
Let's go to the votes, Jim.
What about Dane Swan, Presti?
Dane Swan, 9 votes. And there's Presti. Presti doesn't have to say anything. He was fantastic. Pendlebury great as well, 8.
About it?
David Roden was fantastic. I gave him 8 as well. And Dane Beams, the youngster, he just keeps finding the ball, but he does a lot with it.
What
He's a
about
very,
Presti?
very
You've got
good...
to slot him in. Our guests normally get a vote.
Presti.
Oh, don't suck up to our votes, boys. Guests, boys. Presti played a very good game. Here's Port Adelaide's month ahead. Western Bulldogs, Adelaide, Hawthorn, St Kilda, Collingwood, the Saints, Richmond, Carlton and Geelong. What a game next week, Presti. Looking forward to another big clash with the Saints.
Yeah, it will be a great game, and Rui's back, so I'll probably be on him. And watched a little bit of the game, and he looked like just as he started to play a bit longer, he just really worked his way into the game, took a few long leads and marks and things like that. So it'll be another great challenge.
What's your record on Rui like? Does he say much out there? Do you say much to him, or is it just business?
No, it's just all business. Not a lot of guys say too much. I guess they don't think they'll get much out of me, so...
Prizes, Bill, for Presti.
Yes, the Aquila shoes for you, Presti. We'll give you a pair today. That's a magnificent. The St. Goliath clothing pack, $250 gift card there. Man, what a fuss, $100 voucher. There, the King Chrome tools, a socket set today. The whey protein powder, very good for development and muscle recovery. Hotel Brighton, $100 there.
Oh, nice.
Krispy Kreme donuts, they're magnificent. Our great game, I don't know why I'm talking like Bobby Davis. Our great game, that is a beauty, that, and I was supposed to have it, and I was going to show you some photos of it, but I haven't got a slattery meter doing that. Mary Poppins.
What's it about?
It's about a babysitter who comes and looks after rich kids, and they're little horrors, and she turns them around with love and care.
What does she do with her umbrella?
She flies in the sky with a bag in her hand. And the Home Timber and Hardware $200 gift card, thanks to Home Timber and Hardware, the proper hardware store. Have you seen Mary Poppins, Presti?
I have many years ago.
What did you get out of it?
2 hours of enjoyment.
Well answered, Presti. Now, I want to ask you this, as a magnificent key defender, Presti, which of these would you prefer to play on? Wayne Carey, Jonathan Brown, Nick Revolt, Dermot Brereton or Matthew Richardson?
Probably none of them, I don't know. They're all, all probably carved me up at some stage in their careers.
They are all going to be attached to one of the greatest panels, Bill, ever assembled at a sportsman's night. The Doodle Stars Footy Club. It is on the 24th of July this evening.
Yes.
And all you have to do is contact the club and be a part of Carey, Brown, Revolt, Brereton, Richardson. Quite extraordinary.
Fair dinkum.
Yep, and that is happening on the 24th of July, the Doodle Stars Footy Club, so get stuck into that. Going to be a very big night. What do you got there, Bill?
This is
Swallow you into that?
Yeah, where was I? No, our great game, there it is there. This is a magnificent publication there. There's Wayne Crawford after the 08 grand final. That's what I'm talking about.
Oh, there's you in the background. A few tears.
Yes, exactly. But it's great photos. We've got the great Sam Newman here. Look at him here getting bandaged up, getting the ankles.
The Foss.
Oh, look at him there with Pud, the...
Shorts pulled up high.
Exactly. No, it's
That's
a great
why I
photo.
love the book so much. Presti, what about Jack Revolt? You had the chance to play on him?
No. So
Looking
we've
forward
got
to
them
it?
in a couple of weeks, so should be another challenge.
Well, it's great to see you, and good luck with what's coming up for a very exciting Collingwood Footy Club.
Yes.
We have got Jack Revolt to join us next on the Sunday Footy Show.